The first morning of the British Gas Swimming Championships in Glasgow contains some Britons who are currently ranked #1 in the world. Amy Wilmot won't be getting the chance to race British record holder Hannah Miley in the 400 metres individual medley here, as the Scot has decided not to do it. So it's down to the English record holder to show what she could do against the clock, and 4:40.70, nearly 8 seconds faster than nearest challenger Ellis Jackson. Another absentee was Robbie Rennick, who's achieved his time in the 400 metres freestyle for the Commonwealth Games. So the stage was set, or so we thought, for James Guy to set the fastest time in the heat. But Jay Lediot, going in heat number 5, knocked over 4 seconds off his best time to clock 3 minutes 50.36, 4/10 quicker than the World Championship finalist. The women's 200 metres freestyle is an event where there are lots of improving swimmers, none more so than Siobhan Marie O'Connor, better known up until now by most as a medley swimmer, but she posted a heat time that will make many sit up and take notice, a rapid 1:57.23, over a second quicker than the Welsh record holder Jazz Carlin, 6 swimmers going under the 2-minute barrier. One of the eagerly anticipated battles this week will be between Adam Brown and Ben Proud in the sprint freestyle and butterfly. First round to the 20-year-old from Plymouth with a blistering heat swim in the 50 fly. He clocked 23.78. Brown's second fastest, but over half a second slower. Liam Tancock is back, a rather more hirsute one than we're used to seeing, but his time of 55.34 in the heats of the 100 backstroke shows that after an injury-ravaged year, he is back to race the likes of Chris Walker-Hebben. Just faster, Liam. Fast swimmers as far as the eye can see in the men's 200 metres breaststroke. Heat 4 contained English record holder and the man who finished 4th at last year's World Championships, Andrew Willis. Mid-2:11 for him, pushed all the way by young upstart Adam Peaty. Could Olympic silver medalist and fastest man in the world in 2014, Michael Jameson, respond to his training partner at Bath? Well, not quite, but 2:12.43 will do nicely for their head-to-head this evening. We could possibly see the 2 fastest world times later. Ready and raring to go with the first event of the evening. We have a couple of junior finals to start off with. The women's 400 metres individual medley. These are the juniors who set the 8 best times this morning, and these are they, and I'll tell you about the clubs in a few moments time, but that's the start list with Jennifer King in 1 and Chloe Golding in 8. So Abigail Humphries of City of Coventry in 1, Emma Kane of Millfield in 2, Georgia Coates of Leeds in 3, Rosie Rudin of Nova in 4, Abby Wood of Devonshire in 5, Southport's Holly Hibbert in 6, 7 Isabel Griffiths, and she's from City of Birmingham, and the Peterborough swimmer Catherine Brown, all of them from England, so it'll be an English victor here in the junior final.
Yeah, that's right, it certainly will be, and there's some great swimmers in this junior final. Many of them have represented Great Britain at European Juniors. And certainly we'll be looking to do that in the future. This is a chance for them to post a time that will put them into the criteria for being selected for the European Juniors later on this year.
Rosie Rudin's time, personal best this morning. First time that she's been under 4:50, 4:49.43. Here's the time. Sorry, they've redrawn this one, so it is the touch of Holly Hibbert, 1:06.15.
So Holly Hibbert taking that first 100 butterfly out in 1:06.15, just turning slightly ahead, just over a half a second ahead of the swimmer from Millfield, Emma Kane, in lane number 5.
So watching lane 4, Holly Hibbert of Southport, who's leading the way here by about I was about to say a body length, but if the distance that we are from the turn means that Abigail Humphries is probably a little bit closer than she looks from where we are. In fact, so much so, she's taken the lead. 1:44.60 for Abigail Humphries. Holly Hibbert in second place at the turn, and Emma Kane is in third place.
This is one of the most difficult events on the programme. This and probably the 200 metres butterfly, and certainly for the women 800 metres freestyle. But the 400 medley is one of those events that you've got to be good at all 4 disciplines. You can't have a weak stroke if you want to be world class. You look at the likes of Michael Phelps. He was world class at the butterfly backstroke. He could do an extremely good breaststroke, and he was world class at front crawl. And he's one of the best swimmers in the world. He was the best swimmer and the world record holder in the 400 medley. So it just shows you have to be an all-round swimmer. You can't just get away with having one strong leg.
This is starting to get quite a contest, quite a challenge, quite a race between lane 6, Abigail Humphries, and Holly Hibbert in lane number 4, and not out of the picture either is Emma Kane in lane number 5. But 4 and 6 are the 2 who look to be contesting this. Just waiting to see whether lane 5 can make a move. Also making a bit of a move now, starting to edge towards the leading group is Isabel Griffiths of City of Birmingham, but this will be the term. And Abigail Humphries of Coventry leads, Holly Hibbert in second, Emma Kane in third. But as you can see from the clock, only a second separates 1, 2 and 3 at that turn.
Brilliant first 50 metres breaststroke, and it does actually look like it is Emma Kane from Millfield that's now starting to turn the screw on the rest of the field. Had a great underwater phase on that breaststroke, and now is powering down with the last 15 metres to go before we turn onto our fronts, onto the front freestyle leg, and she'll be powering home. She's just extending that lead. Each stroke goes passing by, and she's got 5 metres to go before she turns onto the freestyle leg.
Once again, the breaststroke proving to be the leg that separates the better swimmers from those who maybe have pretenses to be the best swimmers but can't actually quite carry it out in this environment. There's no doubting at the moment who is the best. It is the swimmer in lane number 5, Emma Kane, and she seems to be at least holding her lead. Freestyle perhaps not quite as strong as the swimmer to her left-hand side, the far side from where we look, Abigail Humphries, but I think she's realising there's a challenge coming and lurking alongside her, so she's just stepped it up a little bit with 50 to go. 4:19.69 is Emma Kane's turning time. Holly Hibbert in second and Abigail Humphries in third.
Yeah, it looks like she's going to hang on for the win. 35 metres to go, and she's really started to go to her legs now and powering down this final 25 metres. But she's being challenged by lane number 4, Holly Hibbert from Southport. But it's going to be all in vain, as it is going to be Emma Kane who wins this first final of this evening.
Emma Kane's time this morning was her personal best is 4:57. She's just beaten her personal best, according to my statistics and information here, by full 6 seconds. 4:57 was her personal best. It is now 4:51.91.
And she looked absolutely delighted with it. She's shattered, but she is delighted. She can't quite believe what she's just done. But as you just mentioned, an absolutely huge personal best. And what a time to do it here at the Commonwealth Games pool in Glasgow. And that is a fantastic way to start off this evening's procedures.
Holly Hibbert with a personal best, not a big one, but nonetheless it is a personal best nonetheless. Emma Kane winning in 4:51, Holly Hibbert in second, and Abigail Humphries in third. As the winner in the green cap, what a great performance from the Millfield swimmer. Age group 13 years, she won the silver at 200. And has some impressive performances along the way, but none more so than that. As we move on to the junior 400 metres freestyle final. That is your 1 to 8. Added to our list, Julian Chan Kui Lin in lane number 8. We only had 7 on the original lineup, but we do have 8. So Julian Chan Kui Lin is an addition to the start list for the final of the junior 400 metres freestyle. Coming out on to pool deck in lane 8, there is Julian Chan Kui Lin. Carl Chisholm in lane 1 for the borough of Kirklees. Reese Worth of Plymouth Leander will occupy lane number 7. City of Newport swimmer representing Wales, Cameron Brown, in lane number 2. Thomas Howley of the City of Newcastle. Unfortunately, City without a pool these days, so not a 50-metre pool anyway. He's in lane 6. Ben Kerry of City of Salford, English swimmer in 3. Martin Walton of Hadfield goes in 5. And the fastest qualifier from this morning, 3:57.13. Just outside his personal best, Daniel Jervis of Swansea University. So we have a mix here of Welsh swimmers and English swimmers. Daniel Jervis and Cameron Brown representing Wales. All the other swimmers for England. 8 lengths of this Tollcross pool. Could be quite tight in terms of finish here, because Martin Walton and Daniel Jervis have very similar times in terms of personal bests. And Ben Kerry is not too far shy of that either. Interesting to see how the different swimmers attack this race, approach this race. And Julian Chan Kui Lin on the far side is going for a very fast time, it would seem, early on. I'm not sure he can quite keep up this pace in lane number 8, but as he wasn't on the original list, I think he's just trying to make up for a bit of lost time here.
Yeah, he probably is. Looks like he has got very, very excited, and he is going to turn first in 27.12. And that could be, this is a big deal for these swimmers. It's probably the first time that they've swum in a final. It's a senior competition. Okay, it is a junior final, but they're walking out in front of a couple of hundred people, again in the Commonwealth Games pool, and this is their Olympic Games, and this is put in there to get them used to producing those times in the heats to get into the finals, and how they deal with the pressure. But it is at the minute, it is lane number 4, Daniel Jervis is going to turn first in 56.87.
Bit too much enthusiasm, I think, from Julian Chan Kui Lin. He went from first at 50 to 6th at 100. So the race is now just starting to settle down a little bit, as indeed is he, and Daniel Jervis as well in lane number 4. Is, as we suspected he might be, the fastest qualifier from this morning, certainly up there with the rest. And Martin Walton is going to be alongside him at the turn, alongside Benjamin Kerry. In fact, 1, 2 and 3 at 150 are separated by just a quarter of a second.
Yeah, it's very, very tight. Still a long way to go in this race. We're not even at halfway stage yet, but it is, you can see now, it's even getting tighter, with probably about 4 or 5 of the swimmers all starting to creep up onto Daniel Jervis and Martin Walton. Expect Martin Walton to come back very, very fast over the last second 100. It is actually lane number 3. Benjamin Kerry is going to turn first at the halfway mark, 1:57.90.
Well, we've already had 3 different leaders at turns in this event. I think that could change all over again, because it is so tight between Benjamin Kerry, Daniel Jervis, Martin Walton, and Thomas Howley's not out of the picture either. In fact, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pretty much in a line going from lane number 3. And look at all of a sudden lane number 7, Rhys Worth is going for it. 2:28.32, so he's leading for the first time in the race. Martin Walton is second, Daniel Jervis third. This is a very difficult one to call, because it's changing every 50.
It still is. At the 200-metre mark, there was a second separating 6 swimmers, and it looks like that's still the case now, as we're starting to come down to the 300-metre mark. The third 100 of these 400 events are always the most important, whether it's the IM or the freestyle. And even looking at the 200 metres freestyle, it's the third 50. So that has really shown there that lane number 7, Rhys Worth, has put down that marker on that third 100 and got himself in the lead. But now, as you can see, he's still in the lead, but the race is catching up with him.
Yeah, and catching up with him very rapidly here is lane number 5, Martin Walton. Did mention him earlier on. That was quite a break there from Rhys Worth. He took a massive chunk out of his personal best this morning, and was looking to do likewise here, but that little burst maybe has cost him this race. Martin Walton leads, Daniel Jervis in second, Benjamin Kerry in third. They come into the last 50 here. Thomas Howley in 4th, and Rhys Worth is now back from first place to 5th.
It's changing all the time, but it's certainly not going to be a change. Well, actually, I was going to say Martin Walter's got this tied up. So there's a strong challenge coming from lane 4. Daniel Jervis from Swansea University. It's going to come down to the touch.
What a tight finish it's going to be, and he's catching with every single stroke, and I think the Welshman may have got it. Has he? No, Martin Walton just gets there behind Daniel Jervis. Boy, there were 7/100ths of a second behind first and second there. Jervis, 3:56.43. That is just inside the time, his personal best by 2/100ths of a second. And in second place, what a race that turned out to be. Martin Walton, 3:56.56. Benjamin Kerry in third place, and fourth, Thomas Howley. That was a remarkable finish. Look at these two coming into the wall.
He timed it to absolutely perfection. Right, he was only winning right at the last stroke there. Bang, head down into the finish. Got the win by just under 0.2 of a second. He's delighted with that time, inside his personal best. Fantastic.
Daniel Jervis then, personal best for him, and a victory. The winning time, 3:56.43. Martin Walton in second, and Ben Kerry in third in the junior men's 400 metres freestyle final.
Now, what a swim there by Emma Kane. She shaved a lot of time off a personal best. What is it, 6 seconds?
I know that's one of the best things about being a junior, is that you do these 6-second PBs or 9-second PBs in a competition. But she seemed really, really pleased with that swim, and her breaststroke was such a good leg. I mean, that's where she won the race for me. She won it there.
Yeah, but you can see that on the screen there. I mean, what an incredible swim. What a great stroke that she's got as well.
Yeah, she was actually behind at the backstroke, and then she managed to kind of get roundabout joint first, and then she came down on that freestyle. I thought, you know, that Holly Hibbert was going to catch her up, but she managed to keep her off. She used her legs the whole way down that last 50, and then had an absolutely storming finish.
And we don't finish there with the personal best, because Daniel Jervis there we saw for the junior boys. What an incredible swim. This is such great experience for the juniors, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really good thing as a junior. You don't get the opportunity that often to actually have an evening swim, to have a final swim. So it's really good that they're getting these opportunities to do those final swims. And the lead changed so many times during that race, which is kind of the curse,
tight, wasn't it?
or the beauty of the race. But like Ross was saying, he was behind the whole way, and then it was literally on that last stroke that he managed to win that race. He put his head down, didn't breathe in the last 5 meters, and he won the race.
Because that's a keen place to take it, isn't it? From the flags to the finish, it's head down and it swims straight into that wall, and that obviously worked there for Daniel. So we're not going to stop there with the action, because we're moving on now to the women's 400 metres individual medley final.
And this is where I utter the immortal words, up for possible selection, certainly for consideration, if Amy Wilmot gets the time we expect her to do here. Probably nobody else in this field is capable of doing the kind of time that's been set by the English selectors, or the ballpark times anyway, that have been set by the English selectors for qualification for the Commonwealth Games later on in the year. But this is all about Amy Wilmot against the clock. Georgia Coates are city leads in 1 there. Camilla Hattersley in 2 from City of Glasgow. 3 is Rosie Rudin of Nova Centurion. Amy Wilmot, fastest in the world, 4:33.64 time set at the Flanders Cup in Belgium earlier on in the season. A lot of people think she's capable of going a bit faster than that. Is today the day that she can? 4:31.33, by the way, is the British record held by Hannah Miley, who has the 2nd fastest time in the world this year, set in this very pool, the Scottish Nationals last week. It's a lot to ask of Amy Wilmot to step up by that much, but she did look impressive this morning, and she was 8 seconds virtually faster than anybody else in this field, so it should be, providing everybody else doesn't improve on their performance radically and drastically, and Amy Wilmot procession towards the end. Probably won't be Ross until about halfway, and then the race is pretty much Amy Wilmot's to the end.
Yeah, that's what you would expect. Is Amy Wilmot is on paper is so much quicker than the rest of the field. Just 2 seconds outside that British record. So depending on what kind of form she is in, will depend on how much she should win this race by. The selection time for Amy Wilmot is 4:39.37, or should I say the nomination time for the Commonwealth Games. So she certainly will be aiming for that with one eye on surely the British record. But at the minute it is Danielle Lowe that's taken this first 100 metres butterfly out. Danielle swims for City of Derby, coached by Olympian Melanie Marshall. And it looks like she is going to touch first at the first opening 100 metres.
Now remember, 4 strokes, so things do change and they alter all the way through this race. So the early proceedings are not always what to go by, because it will change as the event unfolds, and it already is starting to do that before your very eyes. Amy Wilmot in 4, right alongside the likes of Ellis Jackson and Danielle Lowe. In fact, this is where Amy Wilmot starts to power her way through. She hasn't been leading up to this stage, but I think when they get to the next turn on the backstroke, she will be there or thereabouts. Danielle Lowe trying desperately to hold on to that lead, but I think this is going to be Amy Wilmot at the turn. 1:38.88. She's now going to lead of 3/4 of a second over Danielle Lowe, with Ellis Jackson in 3rd.
Yeah, and great skills from Amy Wilmot, going about 8 or 9 metres off the turn underwater, because you're faster actually to go underneath the water than on top of the water, and she now is extending that lead over the rest of the field. You did say she probably won't be leading after the first 150 metres, but now she's starting to stamp down her authority on the rest of the swimmers and edge every stroke out in front.
4:40.70 she clocked this morning. We know she can go considerably quicker than that, and will do this evening. That qualification time not much quicker than that, or the possible qualification, certainly the nomination time is not that much quicker. What she'll be looking for is to be in range possibly of the time that she set in Belgium earlier on this season of 4:33.64. Don't think there's too much doubt, unless there's a disqualification. We will wish that on her, that she's going to win this comfortably. The question is, A, how much in terms of metres is she going to win this by? And probably more important from her point of view is what kind of time she's going to set.
Yeah, that's right. Ideally, she needs to go 3:39.37. That's the nomination time for the Commonwealth Games later on this year in this very, very pool. But surely she's going to be wanting to go quicker than that, and it's certainly going to have both eyes on the British record of 3:31.33.
Well, she does 3, she'll be doing very well. I think you mean 4, don't you?
Oh, yes, sorry, yeah.
That would be a world record by quite some way.
Absolutely fine, yeah. 4:31, sorry, 33. Too many 3s in there.
4:31.33 is Hannah Miley's British record, and well, you see the gap is quite easy to measure here. It's very visible that this race is most definitely under control for Amy Wilmot, with the 100 to go. 3:31.27 at the turn, so she's well in sight of that nomination time. Danielle Lowe is holding on to 2nd place. Rosie Rudin is about 4 seconds behind her, so 1, 2 and 3 seem to be pretty well mapped out here. It's a question now, can Amy Wilmot power on this last 100 freestyle? She's opening up a bigger advantage with every single stroke. The biggest challenge she has, of course, is the clock, and she won't know that for just over another 50 metres.
Yeah, she's definitely going to go underneath the nomination time for the England selection, but I think she's just going to miss the British record of 4:31.33. I think she's going to be a couple of seconds outside of that. But it'll be interesting to see how Danielle Lowe goes in lane number 6. The selection time for the England team, or the nomination time, is 4:39.37, and she's going to be very, very close to it. She needs to hang on to the coattails of Amy Wilmot with the last 15 metres to go, but no doubt who the winner is here.
Can she beat Hannah Miley's time from last week? That's the question. 4:35.94. No, she can't. Hannah Miley went about half a second quicker. Now, Danielle Lowe, 4:42.42 for Danielle Lowe. That is a massive chance for her to improve on her PB. It's only a slight little alteration for a slight advancement. But that was an impressive display by Amy Wilmot, 4:35.94. Not, as I say, as quick as she went earlier on in the season for the Flanders Cup in Antwerp, and perhaps she's a little bit disappointed with that. But Danielle Lowe will be too disappointed.
No, she seemed to fade off down that last 50, did Danielle Lowe. She was on course for going under that nomination time, but just missed it.
4:35.94 then, so virtually 6.5 seconds between Amy Wilmot and Danielle Lowe in second place. Rosie Rudin posting 4:45.33 in third place. So that's the final of the 400 IM taken care of, and we are going to be hearing from the winner of that race, indeed with the time that can now be nominated for England.
And what a way to start off your British Championships campaign. You must be over the moon.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. I would have liked to maybe gone a little bit quicker, but considering the kind of the state I'm in, I can't really complain too much.
Well, you have the Team England nomination time, so congratulations for that. Is there more in the tank for this summer?
Yeah, definitely. My PB is slightly faster than that, so fingers crossed in the summer, if I'm confirmed on the team, I can lower my time and fingers crossed rival some medals.
Definitely. Well, congratulations. Thank you very much, Amy.
Thanks.
Yeah, a little tinge of disappointment perhaps there for Amy Wilmot. She didn't go as quick as she had done earlier on in the season, but that should be hopefully sufficient for her to be both nominated and to be confirmed on the England team for the Commonwealth Games back in this pool in Tollcross later on in the year. Right, moving on to an event which has all kinds of possibilities and possibly has a British record on the end of it, because the qualification time, or the nomination time for the Commonwealth Games, is 3:45.24 is the British record that's currently held by a man we were speaking to earlier on tonight, David Davis. There's your 1 to 8 for the men's 400 metres freestyle. Quite a lot of Sheffield swimmers in here. In fact, 3 current Sheffield swimmers and 1 former Sheffield swimmer in Matt Johnson, who's coming out onto pool deck now. Moved last year to the University of Bath. Max Litchfield is former Doncaster dart, now with the City of Sheffield. Here's Dan Fogg of Loughborough University. I'm sure he would love to see his former teammate David Davis's British record. He's in 7. There's another of the Sheffield contingent, Tom Sunter, going in lane number 2. Nick Granger, another one from Sheffield. It's like buses, they're coming on at a rapid rate here. Nick Granger in 6, and what do you know, here comes another. Gareth Mills of Sheffield. Sounds like a Sheffield gala here in lane number 3. James Guy, who I think most of us expect to win this, but there might be a man that perhaps he wasn't expecting to challenge him, who did challenge him and actually had a better time than him this morning. That is Jay Lelliott of Bath University. Well, he did a 4-second personal best this morning. I just wonder whether James Guy Ross was holding something back in reserve. Surely he was, and perhaps didn't expect Jay to beat him because they were both in the same heat this morning. I think he was only really aware of the danger in the last kind of 25 metres or so.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, it was a fantastic swim from Jay, but James Guy looked very, very, very comfortable this morning. And yeah, I saw him, he looked up into the crowd, looked at his dad, gave him a little wink to say, there's plenty more in there this evening, Dad.
Well, I know the Bath team, those who are not here, are watching to see exactly what Jay can perform in the final of the 400 freestyle, and James Guy will have his eye on that British record of David Davis. So just to clarify, the nomination time for England, 3:45.85, the British record 3:45.24, and we should mention at this point, Ross, that was in the old suit days when David Davis did that time.
Yeah, it certainly was, way back in 2009 in Rome, the World Championships. So it is a new era of swimming now, since after the suits were banned, and it is a new era of swimmers that we're seeing competing here in Glasgow. And at the first 50, it is Nicholas Granger from the City of Sheffield that turns first in 25.69. And just to mention, Daniel Fogg's mum is watching on TV at home, so she'll be giving him a big cheer.
Well, let's see what Foggy can do. Can he cut through all the Sheffield contingent and indeed the man from Millfield in James Guy. Well, this race will probably change complexion and change leader all the way through. Nick Granger, though, is setting the pace. He was leading at 50 and he leads at 100. 53.80 at the turn. James Guy in second place. Third is Max Litchfield. Jay Elliott in fourth, and just like Danny Fogg did this morning, just holding things together and waiting to pounce.
Yeah, expect Daniel Fogg to come back stronger the last 200 metres. He might, to be honest, have too much to do because these guys are going out fast, and that speed is not something that Daniel has got a lot of. He's more of an endurance swimmer, doing the 10Ks and the 1500s. But at the minute, it still is Nick Granger that's turning just about 0.2 ahead of James Guy, and they're going side by side. Expect James Guy to turn on the burners at 300 metres, but also expect Nicholas Granger to go with him.
Well, Nick Granger, if he's to get that nomination time, has to improve by about 5 seconds on his personal best. That's an awful lot to ask of him, but he's holding off at the moment the challenger James Guy just at the turn, and only marginally by just over 0.2 of a second, still in the lead, but marginally so now. Nick Granger from James Guy in second, Max Litchfield in third, and fourth is Jay Elliott. This may not be Danny Fogg's day.
No, but it does look like it is James Guy that's starting to turn the screw on Max Litchfield, on Nicholas Granger. He was about 0.2 behind at 200 metres, but he's now edging out in front, and he's going to be a couple of tenths ahead. There is 1.16 ahead.
Hardly anything to choose between. James Guy in the lead, Nick Granger in second, Max Litchfield in third. So at the moment it is just Millfield, Sheffield and Sheffield. Now, has Nick Granger got something left in the tank? We know that James Guy most certainly has, but they are still side by side. There's still 100 to go, and he hasn't broken Nick Granger yet, James Guy, though I think that's what he intends to do. That's what's on his mind at the turn. Granger, great turn, right alongside James Guy.
Yeah, Nick Granger technically is better than James Guy on the skills, on the walls and on the start, but James Guy now is starting to move away yet again, but Nick Granger is not letting him move, and every time James Guy makes a move, Nick Granger responds incredibly well, but at the minute it is James Guy that's starting to edge inch by inch further ahead.
Well, providing he doesn't blow up over the last 50, whether he wins it or not, this will be quite a sizable PB, I think, for Nick Granger. But as we anticipated, as we expected, James Guy is going to win this. The question is, can he do a 3:45?
He certainly can. He needs to come back in around about a 28.0. And if anyone can do it, James Guy can do it. And he is now starting to stretch away from the rest of the field. He needs to get his head down and focus onto that wall, because there potentially could be a new British record on the cards.
3:45.
Yes.
15. There you have it. The first British record in the able-bodied swimming at the 2014 trials. Well done, James Guy. Yeah, David Davis's 400 metres freestyle British record has gone. Not a huge chunk. Doesn't matter, does it? It's a brand new best time in Britain. 3:45.15 for James Guy. And just confirmed for you, second place, a huge personal best too for Nick Granger. 3:47.31. That's territory he's not been in anywhere near. And Dan Fogg with a very spirited finish, getting in at 3:49.17. So James Guy has set the British record, though of course we can't confirm it yet. I think he'll be thinking about the Commonwealth Games later this year.
Yeah, he's got to be thinking about the Commonwealth Games later on this year. He's not confirmed. There's a finish, and he only got it by 0.1, but doesn't matter if you get it by an inch or a mile. He is the new British record holder, and that'll be a fantastic feeling for James Guy, who still is he's a young lad. He's born in 1995, Bob.
You're going to make me feel old again now, aren't you?
I certainly am. Even I remember when 1995 was.
I don't know why he reminds me, and he does a great deal, of another James Hickman. He has that kind of same demeanour. When we hear the interview, which we will do shortly down on pool deck with him, I think there are certain kind of mannerisms which are very similar to James Hickman to me.
He's just an incredible athlete. Absolutely incredible athlete. But all 5 swimmers there going under 3:50, and that's probably one of the first times it's happened in Britain.
Dan Fogg in third and Nick Granger in second. Let's hear from the new British record holder. Here's James Guy talking about his 400 freestyle.
Unbelievable swim, 2-second personal best, and underneath the Team England nomination time. Where did that come from?
I have no idea. It's been a great season so far. We're training at home with all these guys at Millfield and really spurred me on to do well this season.
Fantastic. And last year, 5th at the World Championships. This year, British champion. You must just be riding on the crest of a wave right now.
Yeah, it's going really well, and I can't thank enough for my family and my coaches at home.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, James.
Now, first of all, Kerry-Ann, because that's 2 races, you were up and down watching those. Let's talk about Amy Wilmot first before we move on to the men's event there. Great swim by her, very far out in the field, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was so far out ahead, and I think it is quite hard to kind of always be out there and to be that far ahead from quite early on. You know, from the backstroke here, she's already ahead, and that lead just grew and grew and grew. But she seemed a bit disappointed about that time.
Yeah, I was going to say, in a post-race interview, she said she did seem a little bit disappointed, but she did a great time.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was under the nomination time, but her PB is 2 seconds quicker than that, and she knows that she can go much quicker than that time, so she will be a bit disappointed, but she's got lots of other races to do this week.
Yeah, she's got a busy schedule, hasn't she? Now, let's move on. Let's talk about that race. James Guy, what a swim.
I know, it was brilliant. When I went to see James, I was like, so what are your expectations for trials? And I kid you not, he said, domination. I want to dominate. I want to scare people, and that's exactly what he did. I'm so pleased for him to break that British record, which was a suits record from around about 2009. So yeah, just so pleased for him. He definitely deserves that swim.
He does. And domination, is that going to be the hashtag of the week? I hope so, Kerry-Ann.
I think it totally should do. That should definitely be the hashtag for the week, domination.
Especially if he's going to be competing the way he did. It's very exciting. So moving on from the domination, let's see what the ladies can do in the women's 200-metre freestyle final.
Right, let's see who is best out of this bunch. Shauna Lee in 1, Caitlin McClatchy 2, Rebecca Turner for Sheffield in 3. The fastest this morning and one of the best times in the world this year, Siobhan Marie O'Connor in 4, Jazz Carlin, the Welsh record holder in 5, Ellie Faulkner in 6, Livy Mitchell in 7, Amelia Morn in lane number 8. What are you expecting of this, Ross?
Well, Kerry-Ann's just been talking about domination, and this young girl in lane number 4, Siobhan Marie O'Connor, absolutely dominated the heats this morning. Spoke to her a little bit earlier on and said, I hope to go a little bit quicker tonight. She's such a sweet and innocent girl, and she just wants to try her best every single time. And what I like about her is she just goes out for it, and she doesn't hold anything back.
And she still has a deeper voice than you, which is impressive. First 50 of the women's 200 metres freestyle. Siobhan Marie O'Connor 1:57.23 was her time this morning, which ranks her already 5th in the world behind Sjostrom, McKeown, Barrett and Himskirk, and then comes Siobhan Marie O'Connor. So I'm sure she will go quicker. So the time she'll be looking to overtake here, 1:57.08 of Himskirk. In terms of getting possible qualification for the Commonwealth Games, certainly in terms of being put forward for it anyway, she has to 1:56.77, which is a very, very tough standard.
And just look how far she is already, 75 metres. And you're looking down the start list, you've got Caitlin McClatchy, the Commonwealth champion in 2006 on this event, Jazz Carlin, who won this event last year, Ellie Faulkner, who went to the Olympic Games for this event, and yet Siobhan Marie O'Connor is turning 3 or 4 metres ahead of the rest of the field.
Are we looking at Joe Jackson's record going here? Possibly 1:55.54. Surely not.
I hope so. Wouldn't that be nice? Especially because Joe's here and she can watch it being broken. That would be lovely.
Well, she's going for it, I'll tell you that much, because she has to go for it, because it's 1:56.77 the nomination time for England. She's going to go much quicker than she did this morning, and she will be up there in the world rankings if she can keep it going. She's got another 50 to go here. 1:55.54. She's going to have to crack on and do a 28.29 here to get Joe's record, but qualification is definitely on the cards.
Yeah, probably not the British record, but the nomination time is what she'd be aiming for, 1:56.77, and as long as she has a strong last 25 metres, she should be underneath that. She is a quality swimmer, an absolutely determined young athlete who's just a pleasure to be around, and she is now starting to tile, and looks like Jazz Carlin is starting to come back, but there's no doubt who the winner's going to be.
Well, she's not too far outside that British record, 1:56.59, that's good enough, or hopefully will be good enough anyway for Siobhan Marie O'Connor. Certainly in terms of being nominated, she will be for the England Commonwealth Games team. Already there, Jazz Carlin for Wales, 1:57.97 the time, and in third place, Becky Turner, 1:59.17. Remember, of course, course, there is a 4x2 relay to be considered as well when you look at this event.
Absolutely storming swim underneath that nomination time. I think in time that record of Jo Jackson is going to be broken, but it will certainly survive to live another day. But what a quality swim from Siobhan Ray O'Connor from the University of Bath, 156.59.
Third fastest in the world, faster than Bronte Barrett by 2/100ths of a second. Siobhan Ray O'Connor, Jazz Carlin in second, Ellie Faulkner in third, Kenna McClatchy for Scotland. So you have to look at Rebecca Turner as the next English swimmer at 159.17. And we will hear from Siobhan. Is she an IM swimmer? Is she a breaststroke swimmer? Is she a freestyle swimmer? She does all those things. She does all those things exceptionally well. And, you know, we were thinking about her when we saw her in Shanghai as being a 200 IM perhaps. They were seeing her doing a bit of breaststroke, and she's pretty good at that, as she showed as part of the medley when she's had a chance to show that. But as a freestyler, she's now the best we have in Britain. It's just amazing stuff. And I think that's taken quite a bit out of her. She's taking a long time to get out to the pool. But we are going to hear some words of wisdom from a very, very talented young swimmer. And Siobhan Ray O'Connor is going to tell us all about that fast time.
Siobhan, congratulations. You totally committed to that race right from the gun. Just talk us through it.
I knew I had to play to my strengths. There's a lot of girls in that race who can come back really fast, and I know I just had to be out fast and just try and hang on.
And the Team England qualification time there of 1:56, really, really tough. Did you come into this thinking that was achievable?
You know, that's such a quick time. It's, you know, for like top 3 in the Commonwealth, and I would thought if I could make the relay that would be great, but I knew that was always going to be a massive challenge that time.
Clearly not too much of a challenge. Thank you very much, Siobhan.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, now move on to the men's para 100 metres freestyle final.
I think you just listed there, Bob, all the events that Siobhan Ray O'Connor is good at, and I think you can just really wrap it up and say she's an absolute quality athlete, world-class athlete that is good across the board. And it's so nice to see such a young swimmer that with so much talent is here in Britain and hopefully going to be pushing our sport forward.
Well, have we found the English version of Hannah Miley there? Because she's kind of doing the same events and nearly the same events as Hannah does.
Yeah, that's right, and you know, it'd be interesting to see what she has in her programme this week and what events she really targets us.
On to our one Paralympic event of the afternoon, and we have a new British record this morning for Matthew Wiley of the City of Sunderland. He's going in lane number 4. I'll give you the full lineup because there's a mix of different categories. Craig Smith is an S8, Morgan Peters an S9, as is Matthew Wiley with that new British record this morning. Ryan West 2 is an S9. Joseph Craig, the 100 and 400 world champion, goes in 6, and Damien Eng of Maidenhead in 7. So that time was set this morning by Matthew Wiley. Season's best and also a British record of 58.95. Not time for applause yet. You haven't done the race. Shortly, though. Matthew Wiley going in 4. New British record set by him. Can he go better in the 100 freestyle tonight? So representatives from Fife, Millfield, City of Sunderland, Gloucester, South Tyne and Maidenhead. And lane 4 and lane 5, Ryan West and Matthew Wiley having decent starts. Let's see whether those two can go head-to-head or whether it is going to be Matthew Wiley powering his way to the finish. And it looks pretty much like it from early indications here.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as Ryan West off the blocks, but he certainly has turned the screw over the next 25 metres, and he turns first in 28.07.
So again, just to mark your card, time this morning 58.95 for Matthew Wiley. We'll be hoping to improve upon that if he can. Ryan West will try and keep in his slipstream as long as he can, with another 15 metres to go. All eyes away to our left towards the clock to see whether he can come up with another storming finish. He's going to do it, I think, is he? 58.69, and it is a new British record for Matthew Wiley. 2 in a day in the S9 category for the City of Sunderland swimmer, who is looking for a nominated time of 57.45. So he's got a bit of work to do on that yet, but he's closing in with every swim, and that's a massive chunk he's taken out of the British record in the space of just over 7 hours.
Yeah, another great swim. Posted a British record this morning, and then it's gone even faster tonight in the final. So that's 2 men's events tonight and 2 British records. Not bad.
And second one of the day for him. Really good stuff. Could be thrilled with that, as they have their qualification tournament for the Commonwealth Games in this pool next week. They are the only swimmer to go sub 1 minute. Matthew Wiley, 58.69. Second time he's done that today. Second British record of the day. Ryan West in second, Morgan Peters in third, and Joseph Craig is in fourth. And I think we're going to hear a word from the British record holder. Matthew Wiley is going to talk us through how he did it twice in a day. Here's the City of Sunderland swimmer talking on pool deck to Jodie.
Matthew, congratulations, another fantastic swim from you. British record in the heats this morning, gone one better in the final tonight. You must be over the moon.
Yeah, really happy, just moving forward from heats to final, so really good, yeah.
And what can we expect to see from you for the rest of the 2014 season?
IPC trials for Europeans next week, so maybe a qualifying time there, not sure, so you never know.
And do you think you've got more in the tank after that race today?
Yeah, there's definitely some things I can pick some speed up from there, so yeah.
Okay, well, good luck for that, and congratulations for today. Well done, Matthew.
Thank you.
I'm confused. What was the question? Lost me completely, but yeah, keep your tweets coming in to our presentation team. Just keep your reactions coming. I know there are clubs watching all over the country to the stream, especially in City of Sheffield. I know that they've got it up on the big screen. They've been enjoying some of the swimming. Certainly Nick Granger's massive personal best in the 400 freestyle earlier on in the competition. We're moving on to the... sorry, Ross now wants to say something, so I need to shut up so you can talk. Go on.
Well, I just had a tweet saying, Bob, do you remember the first car that was ever built?
I do, and I drove it. But I did the prototype for Henry Ford. It was black, of course. You're setting people up to do this, or what? 50 metres breaststroke semi-final number 1 coming up. That's your 1 to 8. Molly Renshaw, better known as the 200 breaststroker, just snuck in 16th place. Final qualification place she got. The shout-outs for the clubs here: Bournemouth, Highland, Derwentide, Edinburgh, Hatfield, Isle of Man. They're here too. I don't think they should be allowed to swim with 3 legs, but there you go. City of Salford in 7, and Molly Renshaw of Loughborough going in lane number 8. That's our lineup for the first of the semi-finals. We've had finals up to this stage, but we've got a few semi-finals to come now. And this is the splash and dash of the 50. This is what I call the washing machine race, because if your breaststroke goes wrong, you look like you're in a washing machine just going round and round.
Is that how you swim then, Bob?
Yes. You've seen my breaststroke, and it's not pretty. Fortunately, all 8 here have pretty decent breaststrokes, or else they would not be in the semi-finals here. Now, who is going to make the running? Is it going to be Corrie Scott, or would it be Katie Armitage, who did a personal best of 32.14 this morning?
This is an event where it is the splash and dash, but you cannot rush your stroke. If you rush your stroke on the breaststroke, like you said, Bobby, it looks like you're in a washing machine. I've never seen a swimmer in a washing machine, but I'll take your word for it. But it is looking like it's Corrie Scott in lane number 4 that's going to take this first semi-final number 1.
And she does in 31.63, so that is another new personal best, 2 in a day for Corrie Scott. Second place going to lane number 5. Sorry, lane number 6, Laura Kinley, and third to, just waiting for it to be switched around here. Yep, that's definitely Corrie Scott's winning time. There you go, 31.63. Beth Aitchison in second, and Katie Armitage 32.34. Winning time 31.63, and there is no nominating time in the 50 breaststroke for England.
So for the English selection policy, I know Kariana has mentioned this before, but you cannot be selected on a 50-metre event unless you've already qualified for another event. Excusing the 50-metre freestyle, you can qualify for 50-metre freestyle, but you can't qualify for the backstroke, the breaststroke, or the butterfly on the 50-metre event.
Sophie Taylor, 31.04 this morning, is actually the 5th fastest time in the world this year, behind Jade Johansson, Ruta Miliotite, Leiston Pickett and Dorothea Brandt. And then comes Sophie Taylor. Now, can she improve on that? 31.04 this morning. She goes in lane number 4. So clubs represented here. Davencio 2 from Edinburgh. City of Leeds, Davencio, City of Derby, Preston and Swansea University. I think all eyes, though, will be on Sophie Taylor of the City of Leeds in lane number 4. She can get away to a decent start. She's actually one of the quickest away from the blocks in a 0.69. Now, can she get under the 31-second barrier here?
Well, she's only 0.2 away from top of the world rankings this year, but it doesn't look like it's actually going to be all her race, as it is lane number 3, Catherine Johnson from Edinburgh University, is piling on the pressure onto Sophie Taylor.
But here comes Sophie Taylor. She's going to come through to win this, I think. It's a great second 25. How good, though, is the time? That's the question. She's going to stop the clock at 31.41, so slower than she went in the heat. Slightly disappointing from that point of view, but still a win nonetheless for her. Second place going to Sarah Vasey of Davencio, and third to Catherine Johnson of Edinburgh University. 31.41 the winning time, winning that over Sarah Vasey by 0.21 of a second.
Probably just spun it a little bit from this morning, probably a little bit more relaxed this morning, and got a little bit more purchase onto the water, got a little bit more power, where today probably just tried to rush the stroke and start to slip in the water and didn't really have that power and that connection with the stroke. So probably that's why she was nearly half a second slower, but she won it nonetheless.
Moving on to the men's 50 butterfly, again the semi-finals. Here's the lineup. And Adam Brown in lane number 4 is a man that we should be concentrating on here, because he's certainly going to be either the quickest or probably the second quickest when it comes to the final. Man still based in the USA, only back in the country, what, about 48 hours ago. We have about a 30-second delay before underway, so I'm going to give you the 1-8 here of the semi-final number 1 for the 50 butterfly. Lane 1, Sean Campsey of Warren de Baths, representing Scotland. Jamie Graham of City of Glasgow in 2. Here comes the list. Liam Selby of Stockport in 3. Adam Brown, Hatfield, but based in America, as I mentioned, in 4. Warren Cannon of Bath in 5. Leo Jaggs of Loughborough in 6. Jamie Thorpe of City of Leicester in 7. And Craig Bauman of Carnegie is in lane number 8. 50 fly again, just to underline from an English point of view, there is no nominated time for this. Now, hopefully Adam Brown and to follow Ben Proud will be hoping to get their times in 100. Although actually, Ben is mainly concentrated, of course, on the 50 freestyle and the 100 freestyle, as indeed is Adam Brown. There'll be the events they'll be focusing in on and targeting for later on in the year. Adam Brown's personal best time is 24.11, 24.32 in the heats this morning, so I'm sure there's a little bit left in the tank. We'll see whether he can produce it here. Personal best for Warren Cannon this morning of 24.41, and indeed for Liam Selby of 24.76. So second semi-final of the men's 50 metres butterfly. Adam Brown going in lane number 4. We prefer to be in the pool doing the freestyle, but like most sprint freestylers, they like to have a splash and dash of the butterfly, and it should be him who comes through. Such a strong player in terms of these kind of races, and he's going to take this all the way to the wall. Question is, can anybody get close to him, and indeed how close can he get to a decent time here? 23.96, first time he has ever been under 24 seconds in the 50 fly. That's a big new personal best for Adam Brown. Warren Cannon in second, 24.21. Liam Selby 24.50. So 2 PBs in a day for Liam Selby, and Sean Campsey in 4th place for Edinburgh. So Adam Brown goes into that well, quite exclusive club of the sub-24ers.
Yeah, brilliant swim from Adam Brown. He's 6'5", 6'6", and he's got such a big wingspan, and that certainly will help on the butterfly events. You've already mentioned that he is actually more suited to the 100 metres freestyle, but he can pop in, as you just saw, a very decent 50 metre fly. But expect now Ben Proud in the second semi-final to certainly be looking at that 23.96 and using that as motivation to hopefully go a little bit quicker.
Ben has been considerably quicker than that. His personal best around the 23.1 mark. 23.67 is his season's best. And he goes in lane 4, flanked either side by Thomas Laxton and by Sam Horrocks. Stockport, Millfield, Loughborough, Plymouth, City of Manchester Aquatics, Sunderland and Glasgow, all represented in the second semi-final of the 50 metres butterfly. How will Ben Proud respond to what he's just seen from Adam Brown? Well, I think he'll be going for it. So he doesn't have the final until tomorrow, so he can have 24 hours to rest and recuperate. So Ben Proud off the blocks, 0.61. Fastest away, well, nearly actually. Ben Lowe slightly quicker from Millfield, but second fastest away, as is the Plymouth Won't these days.
Yeah, they really do work on their reactions. Notice if they can knock off 0.1 on the reactions, then it's 0.1 they have to find in the race, and it is certainly Ben Proud's race. Head down into the finish, 23.49, very easy, very nice.
Job done. Anthony James, so Plymouth 1-2 there. Anthony James 23.93, but fastest time in there, 23.49. And that is the 7th fastest time of the year. Just slotting in between Evgeny Sedov of Russia and Nicolas Santos of Brazil. At times 23.49. Roland Skuman, Yevgeny Sirkin of Belarus, Govorov of Ukraine, Manadou of France, Chelo, Sedov, and then Ben Proud 23.49. Anthony James of Plymouth in second, and Thomas Laxton 24.36 the third place. Here's the lineup then for the first of the 2 semi-finals of the 100 metres butterfly. Manchester, Guildford, Loughborough, Plymouth, Cockermouth and East Lothian all represented there. Vienna close in 1, down to Raquel Matos in 8. Quite a few PBs this morning. Emma Day with a new one, Rachel Kelly with a new one, Charlotte Atkinson as well, and Anna Newlands all went faster this morning than they had previously done. Let's see whether Rachel Kelly, with the second fastest time of the morning, can do likewise tonight. She goes in 4 for Loughborough. 2 Loughborough swimmers in this. In 4, Rachel Kelly. Sophie Smith is in lane number 6. 2 lengths of the Glasgow pool. Leading swimmer in the world at the moment is Sarah Sjostrom with a 56.53. I don't think we expect anything approaching that. The time that they're looking for is, if they're English, around about 57.96 for qualification consideration anyway for the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, that's certainly right. It is in the minute. Rachel Kelly from Loughborough University turning first in 27.60, being coached by James Gibson, the former 50-metre breaststroke world champion, so he knows a thing or two about sprinting. It is Rachel Kelly at the minute in the centre lane, leading the rest of the field with only 25 metres to go.
Rachel Kelly at the moment holding off the advances of Charlotte Atkinson and Sophie Smith. They're both coming strongly towards the end, but it looks like Rachel Kelly has got enough in the tank to hold them off by about half a body length to a body length advantage at the end. 58.84 is the time for Rachel. Not quite as quick as she has been this season, but nonetheless that will do in terms of progression to the final, I'm sure. There's something rather strange happens in the second semi-final. In second place, Charlotte Atkinson, 59.33. Georgia Barton, the other one of the 3 swimmers to go sub-60.
So in that semi-final, quite a few of the young swimmers starting to step up. Now, you mentioned Emma Day doing a PB this morning. She won the European Junior silver medal last year, and Georgia Barton is also born in 1995. Rachel Kelly 1994, Charlotte Atkinson 1996. So these swimmers are now starting to step up and challenge the most senior swimmers that we'll see in this semi-final.
Well, I'll resist the temptation to do an M&M, but look who's back again. Siobhan Marie O'Connor in lane number 5. Fran Halsall in 4 for Loughborough University, and Loughborough also represented by Eleanor Sheridan in 8. There are 2 bar swimmers side by side, Siobhan Marie O'Connor and Tilly Gray, and Sophie Allen's back as well. She's in lane number 2.
Really looking forward to seeing Fran Halsall in this semi-final number 2, going against Siobhan Marie O'Connor. Fran never likes to be beaten in anything, whether it's a game of cards or a swimming race, so expect her to be out there in front. But Siobhan, we've already seen in cracking form so far.
Fran, the fastest Brit in the world this year, 58.21. I think the scrap between her and Siobhan in the adjoining lane should be very interesting. Now, Fran, of course, better known mostly for the 50 and 100 freestyle, but she's done some very good times in both the 50 and 100 butterfly. But look at Siobhan Marie O'Connor. She's not so long come out of the pool from the 200 freestyle. Does she worry about that? Is she concerned about that? Not a jot.
No, but I would expect Francesca Halsall to be turning first at the 50 metres, and then probably expect Siobhan Marie O'Connor to try and reel her in. Both these girls like to go out fast, but Fran is more of a sprinter than Siobhan Marie O'Connor. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to come down to the finish. But like I said, Fran does not like to be beaten at anything, so she's going to be digging deep. Even though it is only the semi-final, she doesn't like to be beaten by anyone.
Well, she doesn't, and Siobhan is probably just behind her, but there's not much between Fran Halsall and Siobhan Marie O'Connor. It is going to be Fran Halsall, I think, with about 7 or 8 metres to go. Now, what kind of time could she post here? 58.33. Look at the gap between first and second. 1/100th of a second between Fran Halsall and Siobhan Marie O'Connor. Alice Thomas of Swansea does a 59.31. That's her new personal best as well, 59.44 prior to today. That's 1, 2 and 3 all under 60, and Fran Halsall holding on literally by a fingernail.
Yeah, we kind of called it. She's going to be out there fast, and Siobhan's going to be trying to reel her in, and she just got her fingertips to the wall. That 1/100 quicker than Siobhan. But Fran's hoping to qualify for the Commonwealth Games in 5 events. So the 100 metres butterfly, the 50 free, the 100 free, and a couple of relays, and even the 50 metres backstroke as well. So she's going to have a busy programme this week.
There's confirmation of the result for you, and literally as tight as you can get. 1/100th between first and second. Alice Thomas in third. All three of them will progress to the final tomorrow night. Here's the start list for the first semi-final of the men's 100 metres backstroke. Chris Walker-Hebben had a very good end to 2013. Looks to kind of pick up where he left off in the short course season with a long course time. Mark O'Loughlin, who's been racing in for many years, is also alongside him. Xavier Mohammed in 3, and of course we have Liam Tancock, who is marginally the fastest qualifier from the heats into the semi-finals, going in the final semi-final after this. Chris Walker-Hebben going in 4. Just waiting for the swimmers to come out onto pool deck. Here they are. Andrew McGovern in 1, City of Aberdeen. Jonathan Carlisle, City of Sunderland in 2. Xavier Mohammed now in Cardiff in 3. Been there for a while actually now. Chris Walker-Hebben of Ellesmere, though he does swim in Bath, in 4. Mark O'Loughlin of Guildford in 5. Liam Knight now being looked after by Ian Armiger, who's back in the fold at Loughborough. Ryan Bennett of the University of Stirling just up the road in 7, and Cockermouth's Luke Greenbank is in lane number 8. Well, is this the emerging year for Chris Walker-Hebben? He's been there or thereabouts, made World Championship teams, made Olympic teams, never quite pushed on, perhaps with the spur of a good short course season. This is time for him to move on.
Yeah, really, I think last year gave him so much confidence, and he's now dropped the 200 metres backstroke out of his programme, and I think that was probably holding him back a little bit, that he felt like he had to concentrate on the 200 metres backstroke. He actually made his breakthrough in 2009, and he qualified for the World Championships on the 200 metres backstroke. So now he's dropped it. I think he's can just focus on the 100, and I think that's why we're seeing him swim so well.
Chris Walker-Hebben, personal best of 53.38 going in lane number 4. Mark O'Loughlin's been in the low 54s, not quite in that range this morning. And Liam Knight, of whom there's much hope in the Loughborough fraternity for him to move on, is in lane number 6. But it is Chris Walker-Hebben, as he did in the heats this morning, setting the pace, and unlikely to be headed in this company in this kind of form. He turns in 26.11 rapid. Second, Mark O'Loughlin, and third is Andrew McGovern, who swims for the University of Aberdeen.
Another commanding swim here in the pool in Glasgow. This time it is by Chris Walker-Hebben. Bath are already having a fantastic meet with Siobhan Marie O'Connor, and now Chris Walker-Hebben destroying the field in this opening semi-final, a time of 54.01. So just outside the nomination time for Team England of 53.73, but that will easily get him into the final tomorrow night, and he'll have another crack at getting that nomination time.
Season's best, though, for Chris Walker-Hebben, and that will be the time that will take him through quite comfortably to the final. Mark O'Loughlin 55.36 in second. This is how Walker-Hebben finished the race off.
Yeah, you can see how far he is now. He's going to lunge back into the wall to post that 54.01. He looks quite comfortable. Nice new haircut. Modelled himself on you, Bob.
I wouldn't want anybody to do that, Ross. I really wouldn't. Not my barbers, anyway. 54.01. Mark O'Loughlin 55.36. Xavier Mohammed. Liam Knight will have to probably sit and wait for a while to see whether he can make it at 55.77.
Been really interesting to see how Liam Tancock responds to a disappointing year last year. I say disappointed because he was injured and he couldn't do what he wanted to do. He was the reigning world champion for the 50 metres backstroke, and he wasn't able to defend his title as he had a shoulder injury. But credit to Liam, he didn't sing and dance about his injury. He just got on about it and went about his business very, very professionally, like he always does. So now they've been back in the pool a couple of months, sorted his shoulder out, and it'll be interesting to see how he gets on in 2014.
Well, Liam Tancock is Ali G with that beard. It's had a shave since this morning, because it was a full beard this morning. But Liam Tancock has had a partial shave. I imagine that might be the last we see of the George Michael look. Liam Tancock going in for Joseph Cannon-Shaw, City of Oxford now in 1. John Blasinski of Nottingham in 2. Charlie Balderson, University of Stirling in 3. Liam Tancock, Loughborough 4. 5, Joseph Patching of Plymouth. The 2 Loughborough swimmers, Joe Elwood and Sam Strawn. Then Kunmi Ogunfibo of Beckenham goes in lane 8. This is all about what Liam Tancock can do. Liam Tancock looking good in terms of his height in the water. How's he looking in terms of time? 26.19 is Tancock's turning time.
So he's turned 8/100ths of a second slower than what Chris Walker-Hebburn did in the first semi-final. I expect Liam to probably go to around about 80 metres and then start to back off. But this is getting back to the Liam of old now, starting to dominate the 100 metres backstroke here in Britain. And it just seems to just be easing off as we're coming into the final 10 metres.
Yeah, job very comfortably done. Ooh, not the greatest of finishes though, I've got to say. That is not a great Liam Tancock finish. He was kind of stretching a bit there at the end. That might have lost him a bit of time. 54.67 for Liam. Second, Charlie Balderson. And third, Joe Patching. The winning time for Liam, 54.67. Look at this finish.
There's George, as you call him, Georgie Michael.
Give us a song, George.
Let's go outside.
Well, if you want to, Ross, I've got a job to do here, mate.
No, this is a great swim from Liam. It's good to see him back on form, and hopefully he can put his disappointing year behind him last year and focus on the Commonwealth Games if selected. It's an event that he won back in 2010.
Good head-to-head tomorrow night. Liam up against Chris Walker-Hebburn. That will be one of the more enticing finals I think you'll have on day 2. Yeah, we certainly have been looking forward to this. Absolutely no doubt about it. One of the events of the week. Is it going to be Andrew Willis, Michael Jamieson, or Adam Peaty? Probably Michael Jamieson, but there's a little score to settle, I think, between the 2 Bath trainee mates. And Adam Peaty certainly pushed Andrew Willis all the way this morning. So Adam Peaty is the emerging one. Andrew Willis is the English record holder. And of course, the man now coming out of the pool deck is the Olympic silver medalist, a man who had a bit of injury last year, which is why he finished 5th at the World Championships, but he's back on form, as his best time in the world this year proved when he swam it last week in Glasgow.
Absolutely incredible athlete, Michael Jamieson. But, you know, Adam Peaty is emerging talent, more for a 100-metre breaststroke, but he is trying his luck at the 200 metres breaststroke as well. And Andrew Willis will always be there or thereabouts. Made the Olympic final back in 2012 and the world final last year in Barcelona. So now you see some already 2 world-class swimmers in Michael Jamieson, Andrew Willis, and an emerging talent in Adam Peaty.
Right, let's get ready for this. It's going to be a good one. Whatever happens, whoever wins it. There's a lot riding on this. Michael Jamieson, fastest in the world at 2:08.01. Over half a second quicker than Christian Sprenger. World record is Daniel Giertes at 2:07.23. Not to ask. But if he's going to do it, he's going to want to do it in his own pool, which this is. I know he trains in Bath. He is from Glasgow. Big Celtic fan is Michael Jamieson. Now, how is he going to swim this? Because he has swum it different ways. He sometimes waits until the second 100 before he really makes his move. He knows exactly how Andrew Willis is going to swim it alongside him in lane 4. Probably doesn't quite know how Adam Peaty is going to swim it. And also doesn't know how Rob Holderness, who's already qualified for Wales in lane 7, is going to swim it.
Yeah, Rob Holderness always comes back strong over the last 100 metres. Adam Peaty, expect him to be out there in first for probably the first 100 metres, and he is turning first in 29.16, so just slightly slower than his heat time this morning on the opening 50. Michael Jamieson turning in second, nearly half a second behind, and Andrew Willis 1/100 behind in third. So It's tight, but already you can see now Michael Jamieson starting to stretch out. He's taken the lead. Andrew Willis is watching every move, and Adam Peaty is still in the mix.
Three of them going to the wall together. 2:10.61 is the time for nomination for the English swimmers, who at the moment are in second and third place. And not surprisingly, Michael Jamieson's getting the roar of the crowd. He led at the 100 stage. Adam Peaty right alongside him. Andrew Willis now in fourth place. Rob Holderness having a storming swim on the far side in lane 7.
Yeah, Robert Holderness from Millfield. Obviously just seen James Guy break the British record in the 400 metres freestyle from Millfield. So he's training with the likes of him, but it is at the minute still Michael Jamieson is going to turn first in 1:34.74. 0.9 of a second ahead of Andrew Willis, and it is Rob Holderness that turns third.
Michael Jamieson, 2:08.01 in this pool last week. Fastest in the world. He is the fastest in Great Britain, of that there is no doubt. Andrew Willis can't keep with him. Adam Peaty can't keep with him. Michael Jamieson against the clock, as he so often is. How quick can he be here? Can he go quicker than he did this time last week? I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to get in the 2:07 range. He stops the clock. No! Whoa! 2:07.79. Half a second outside the world record, but the quickest of the week and the quickest of the year. Michael Jamieson, 2:07.79. Adam Peaty in second, 2:09.40, and he has also got the nomination time for the England team as well. That's the fastest by some way that he has ever been. The time for Andrew Willis, 2:09.85. He too is inside the time for nomination for the England team, and Rob Holderness, although he's already made the team for Wales, is disqualified in lane number 7. But it's all about the man with the GB cap. Looks like England have done pretty well from this too, but not anywhere as well as Michael Jamieson has done it yet again. Rarely fails to deliver. 2:07.79. Look at the margin of victory there. 1.75, pretty much 1 3/4 seconds between first and second. Andrew Willis going under 2:10, so the two Englishmen would be hopeful of getting on the England Commonwealth team. But Michael Jamieson, well, he's faster in the world by quite some way. Take that, everybody else. I think we need to hear a few words from the ambassador for Scottish breaststroking. Michael Jamieson is on pool deck and is going to give us a few words of wisdom.
Another world's best time this season, and you seem to be swimming nomination times for fun at the moment. Talk us through that race.
Yeah, I was a bit better than last week. All my coach was watching this, because that was faster than last week, which means I've just earned just over a 4-week taper from now on.
And you mentioned last week you swam a brilliant time of 2:08, a world season's best at the time. How did you prepare coming into this meet, knowing that you'd already got the Team Scotland qualification time?
The past few days, I've not really been sure what to do, to be honest, and I've ended up just floating around in the warm-up pool. But I think last week it was job done for me, really. It's obviously nice to be back home, and Scottish and British Gas have put on a great couple of events in the last few weeks. And as you can see, it's a worthy venue of, a meet the stature of the Commonwealth Games this summer.
And I've got to ask the question on everyone's lips. Olympic silver medal in London 2012. Can we expect you to go one better this summer?
Well, I hope so. I'm starting to get bored of these silver medal finishes, so I'm doing everything I can in preparation for the summer, so hopefully I can stay on top of the rankings for a bit longer.
Congratulations, MD. Fantastic swim.
Yes, thank you.
Here's the star list for the Junior 200 freestyle for the girls. And the clubs that are represented are Warrender, City of Sheffield, City of Birmingham, Swin Gwynedd, Chelsea and West, Preston, Sedgefield and Bridgend City. They are the 1 to 8 for the Junior 200 freestyle final. We saw that amazing time from Siobhan Marie O'Connor earlier on. Hopefully an inspiration, Ross Davenport, to the ones who are in the pool right now.
Yeah, that's right. She's not that much older than these girls, so you know, the way that she's progressed through the ranks, you know, making the World Championship team in 2011, to then going on to the Olympics, to then being, you know, one of the fastest girls in the world in the space of 3 years is remarkable. And you know, these girls can hopefully follow in that footsteps. They can see the pathway from where they are now to where they can be in 4 years. And obviously in that time, you've got the Commonwealth Games and also the Olympic Games. So, you know, the opportunities are out there for these girls if they want it and they want to work hard at it.
Katherine Greenslade did a new personal best this morning of 2:04.92. She's right up there. In fact, there's joint leaders at the halfway stage. 1:00.71 for Katherine Greenslade and Hannah Featherstone in lanes 6 and 7. Fastest qualifier, Murray Davis, has done a 2:02.81. That's her personal best, which she did in the heats this morning. Expect her to make a move, and as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, pretty much in the line from lane 4 right through to lane 7.
Yeah, it's really tight. It does look like it is going to be lane number 5 that's turning first. Or lane number 4, sorry, Murray Davis in 1:31.95. Half second ahead of Georgie Boyle from Chelsea and West. It's going to come down to this last 25 metres now. Who's got the strength, who's got the power to finish this race off?
Looks like Murray Davis, who was the fastest qualifier from this morning for the junior final, is just about to hold on. She's getting some pressure on her, though, from the Chelsea Westminster swimmer Georgina Boyle, but it will be Murray Davis. 2:02.40 is a new personal best. 2 in a day for Murray Davis. Second place going to Georgina Boyle, 2:02.73. And for her, that's the first time she's been in that kind of ballpark. It's about a 2.5 personal best for her. Hannah Featherstone of Sedgefield in third, 2:04.25, and that's how all the others fared.
Ladies and gentlemen, Glasgow, please put your hands together for the junior women's 200-metre freestyle finalists.
These swimmers will be getting great experience. They've just watched Michael Jamieson put a world-class time in, and then they've got to follow in the very, very next event. They've seen him in the call room. They'll see how he acts and how he approaches the swim, and hopefully they can learn lots of experience from this going forward, because like I said, these girls could be the future for British swimming in, you know, in 2 years or 6 years time, moving on to Tokyo.
And certainly from a men's perspective, or juniors perspective coming up, they'll be looking at what Michael Jamieson has achieved in the 200 breaststroke and see whether they can be thinking about emulating something similar when they get to his age. He's the kind of swimmers looking forward to for Tokyo, really, 2020. Warrington, Portsmouth, Birmingham, Taunton Dean, Plymouth, Derwentide and Guildford, all represented in that order on the 1:08. Fastest in the field from this morning, Charlie Atwood, who has been as quick as 2:16. He's about 4 seconds outside that, so I think he might be playing possum a bit. We'll wait and see tonight. He'll be looking to do something a lot quicker than that. Personal best from the swimmers in lanes 2, 3, 5 and 7 and 8 indeed this morning, so about more than half the field did personal bests in the heats.
And they have to do the personal best in the heat to make these finals. Only the fastest 8 juniors. There's no semi-finals. Like I said, there's already a great opportunity to swim in the Commonwealth Games pool here in Glasgow in front of a big crowd.
Luke Davis, 2:21.87. That was a sizable chunk he took out of his personal best. Massive drop down for Joshua Winnicott. Up to 4 seconds on his personal best. And Joel O'Haran, and they've been down to 2:23 until this morning. But Charlie Atwood has been considerably quicker than everybody else in this field from Taunton Dean. So 2:16 before today. So if he carries that out in this race, should win this by a couple of seconds, but wasn't quite in that kind of form this morning. This is the junior 200 metres breaststroke. Who is going to be the emerging talent from England, because they're all from England. There's one Scot in lane number 1, Daniel Lim, who's going to be the Andrew Willis of the future.
Well, Scotland have got a massive tradition in the breaststroke events, as has England. So you know it's a tough event to break into. Just seeing the senior final, the 3 guys going under 2:10. Ross Murdoch, who didn't swim this from Scotland, also went into 2:10 last week. So you know, these guys, they see where they've got to go. They've raised the bar, the senior swimmers have. Now the juniors have got to try and step up and topple them away from the top of the plinth in a couple of years.
4, 5 and 6, not quite in a line, because Charlie Atwood has got the early pace on this one, coming into 100, and then 5 and 6 virtually together going into the wall. In fact, they are absolutely together going into the wall, 106.61, so just over a second gap between Atwood and the rest. And say Atwood has the fastest time on paper, but he's going to be pushed, and is being pushed all the way by Jack Burton in lane number 6.
Jack Burton's on this storming third 50. Really starting to turn the screw on the rest of the field. Looks like it's not quite neck and neck, but Jack Burton is closing by every stroke as we're coming into the final turn.
Well, the Plymouth Leander swimmer does have a 2:18 as his personal best, so maybe we shouldn't be that surprised that he's giving Charlie Atwood a very good race. And it's going to be these two, I think, who are going to go head-to-head. The others will be looking at the minor placings, but look at this. Lane 4, Charlie Atwood. Jack Burton for Plymouth on the far side in lane 6, and it looks like the Plymouth swimmer who's probably got a little bit more in the tank.
He's paced this perfectly well. He turned at the 100-metre mark and really turned the afterburners on. And now he's storming down this final 50, and he's going to win the junior men's 200 metres breaststroke here in Glasgow.
2:18.14 was previously his best time. Well, welcome to the 2:17s for Jack Burton. 2:17.22 for him. Charlie Atwood in the end finishing a second and a half behind him in second place. Third to Daniel Lim, but that is a very, very good swim, and there's something in the water in Plymouth because they've done it again.
Yeah, I'm really impressed the way he paced that race. Didn't go out too fast. Charlie Atwood took it out for the first 100 metres. Jack Burton just bided his time, swam his own race, and he came away with the win.
Yeah, they're producing them in all disciplines, at all distances now in Plymouth. John Rudd and his team doing a very good job down there at Plymouth Leander, as that proved. Jack Burton with a new personal best, 2:17.22. Charlie Atwood, 2:18.88. And Daniel Lim, the other one to go sub 2:20. Still some work to do to get them in the higher echelon of men's breaststroking, but that's the start, and a very good start it is too for Jack Burton, who takes the junior 200 breaststroke final.